sound of every nerd's heart beating at once. We live to see if Scarlett will advance to the round of 16.
Yes. Will Patience win this rematch? Who knows?
You are alive. You are a living, breathing thing, and you are lucky because we have the rematch of Scarlett and Patience, a best of 3. One to be eliminated, one to advance closer to becoming a GSL Code S champion.
Woot, woot. I just want to get it started. Let's just go. Cases, can you tell them to start?
Start the game! Ah!
Well, Scarlett won last time.
As Patience assembled enough information to get strategies laid out that can actually take down Scarlett.
Well,
I have to say, Scarlett's got much better late game than Losira does, that's for sure. So this is going to be a real challenge for Patience.
He's playing a lot of PvZ today. He's been doing a pretty good job. He's definitely warmed up at this point.
Black-Pink is going to be our first map, and that is now loading up. Scarlett, possibly the best non-Korean in StarCraft 2, is fighting one of the very strongest Protosses there is, Patience, to get to that round of 16 spot. Let's go!
Fight! Team expert, Scarlett.
Going with a jump scare player intro.
The jump scare?
You know what a jump scare is?
No.
So like, if you're watching a scary movie and then something out of nowhere, like pop, like a bird flies out of a.
Those always get me.
Yeah,
they always get me.
But it is oftentimes criticized in some horror movies as like, okay, you're just trying to get a bunch of jump scares out, but it's not actually scary. You're just startling people.
Well, yeah, well, that explains Jurassic Park basically all the way. It's all jump scares. No, the first one's a very good movie.
Yeah, the first one's great.
Like,
oh, you mean the recent ones where they had like the Omega dinosaurs?
All the scares are only jump scares. There's nothing actually scary about it.
Yeah.
It has raptor DNA.
It's got cloaking DNA. I'm like, I gotta go.
That makes sense somehow. Look, if the sword dudes have it. What were you calling DTs?
The swordmen.
The swordmen.
Invisible swordmen.
Yeah, invisible swordmen.
By the way, guys, wait, what is it we learned on Twitter? It's the
it's the
Romans
Roman
took
Greek.
the Greek gods.
Yeah.
We found out we
Who
upset
stole from the Norse.
we have upset a lot of people. So we didn't realize there were so many pagans watching this. We didn't realize we're gonna upset all you guys by not having our Greek, Roman, Norse god facts.
I basically had it. It was close. A little scoutery going on. Stargate about to be made. There it is.
Yeah, I am interested in seeing if Patience can actually head-to-head take on Scarlett in late game. I think Patience, if he's gonna win this, it's gonna be through his pressure and his harass early on.
Yeah, he does like okay late game, but not. He's nothing to write home about. If I ever write my mother a letter, it will not be about Patience's late game. She would think that's really weird too. She'd be really confused.
Yeah, she'd be very worried about you. She'd be like, "What are you talking about? Is my son crazy?"
Yeah.
So the Adept is still just trying to get a glimpse here. As Scarlett is just getting ready in case it were to shade inside.
Yeah, you gotta do the dance.
Twilight Council.
Or you pay the piper sometimes.
Yeah, that's the expression for sure.
I stole that from the Greeks.
Okay, 5 more drones coming here. And we have Phoenix Tech. This Patience has just been using this.
Phoenix Tech is. Oh, yeah. Have you ever called it Phoenix Tech?
I'm mixing it up, man.
Yeah. Or did he just make a Phoenix?
They teched to a Phoenix.
Oh.
It comes from the mighty Stargate.
Yeah.
Looks like Scarlett's going to get to see everything.
Yeah,
here.
he's mixing it up a lot right now, though. The fact that he's going for glaives, that is quite a difference from what we've seen. Because it's a really different defense overall, right? Like the adepts start shading in all over the place. Let's see here. Scarlett going up into lair. I like that Patience is not just using the same builds every single time, because occasionally you get a player that does that. And it becomes a little bit predictable there by the end. But not even an Oracle being made. You don't need an Oracle if you're making that many Adepts, I guess, he thinks. She has to be wondering by now, where is that Oracle?
Yeah, that is a little bit suspect, right? Like, you almost always see an Oracle follow up with this. And that could telegraph to Patience, I'm sorry, to Scarlett, that something's coming here for Patience. Mm-hmm. Those glaives are nearly done. You notice he hid a lot of those Adepts, actually, inside his main.
Yeah. And leading the way with those Adepts, so clearing the way of any Zerglings. Really, Patience is just trying his absolute best not to show off what's happening. Right? And now the Roach is just now finishing with this many Adepts on the move. This is pretty scary right now for Scarlett. She's making some Lings and some Roaches, but they are a bit late.
Okay. We have the Adepts coming up now. And this is starting to deal a lot of damage to Scarlett. With the one queen already down, these Lings not in a good position. The two queens can't unite, try to fight against these Adepts. And this is going to be a lot of damage coming here. Note that Patience was targeting down workers. Now, Patience inside Scarlett's main. The queen not yet taken out.
Some okay defense so far. Some drones are starting to fall, and the Adept count is getting lower. Don't forget, this is not like a 7 or 8 gate move yet. No. There's more gates on the way. So it looks like there's going to be a follow-up here from Patience with Sentries, with an Immortal in there also. But this initial one, if it had been like a crazy all-in, maybe it does more damage there. But look at the amount of Sentries.
Yeah, there's going to be a pretty scary push coming up from this.
Yeah, this is
definitely be careful. That Warp Prism's getting low.
Yeah, Warp Prism is super crucial, too.
Scarlett still managed to get pretty sizable, despite the somewhat effective harass here for Patience.
Yeah. There are so many Sentries right now, it's actually crazy. Patience has had 4 gases for a really, really long time as well.
Okay. The Adepts are coming up. So far, so good here. Scarlett's not even overextending economically. No 4th base just yet. And Scarlett wants to punch back.
Ooh, a lot of Roaches and Ravagers, so this is going to give her the best chance possible. If she was sitting here making drones, then this game would be just about over. But her army is gigantic right now. A lot of Sentries, though. So again, this is definitely something that is holdable. If Scarlett overextends here, some Force Fields can come down and she'll lose a big chunk of her army, but that's a lot of Ravagers to break Force Fields with.
Okay. The Ravagers are coming down now. Now, I gotta say, these Force Fields are not bad, but the Ravagers are sort of negating its utility. The Immortals are actually in probably the best position in this fight that you could ask for. And Scarlett is like running into a brick wall here.
This is so funny because there was a ton of Ravagers and a ton of Corrosive Biles came down, but there were so many Force Fields that Patience just remade them immediately and picked off a ton of units.
It's pretty impressive. Yeah, I mean, the Force Fields lasted long enough that the fight was ultimately just won by Patience. Yeah. And eventually Scarlett realizes, okay, I've almost dug my own grave here trying to make a move like this. Because, yeah, Ravagers do stop Force Fields, but what if they have so many Force Fields you can just keep making it over and over and over again?
Well, during that, the Warp Prism did go down, so Scarlett pretty safe for the time being. Another Warp Prism coming up.
I think Scarlett's going to try to all-in from here. She's just massing
Scarlett
up.
Is?
Yeah, she's still on 3 bases. We see no attempt to expand just yet.
Okay.
Okay, maybe not. There's the 4th base coming down now. I was wondering, though, because Scarlett's been on 3 bases for a pretty long time.
She might just be afraid of any incoming attacks. You know, that is a scary army. Those Sentries will regain their energy. A Spire coming up here. That's kind of cool, actually. I like the Spire. When you're sitting here on Roach Ravager, you definitely are going to be able to bank up some gas on the way. And a lot of times the way that they counter it is going to be very Immortal heavy. We've already seen a ton of Sentries. These are not great anti-air units. Oh my god.
Oh my god! Oh, you're
kidding
me. Whoa, it actually got away.
That is so crazy.
So insane. Okay, Scarlett, again, has gathered up in the center of the map. That Spire about halfway done. I think Scarlett might try to attack out here, Artosis. Certainly looks like she's interested in moving out and getting just so many Ravagers.
Yeah, look how many Lings are in production as well. This has to be an attack.
And I guess it's just going to be right over here at base number 3 for Patience.
Psystorm just started.
Oh, wow. Yeah,
so this attack is going to hit and be decided before Psystorm's done at this point.
Well, this area over here, it's a little bit boxy. Not easy for Scarlett to get all of her Ravagers over there. Now, she probably doesn't know the exact timing of where Storm's at, but definitely it would be wiser to hit before it's finished. Easy for us to say we can see everything.
Yeah, that 4th base going to be attacked. Okay, force fields go down.
Whoa.
Jeez. Over bile much?
Yeah.
Psystorm, a little over halfway done. 7 mutas on the way, though. The muta's going to be able to hit the economy a bit, I would say. The main base and natural probably don't have any cannons in them.
Is there a real opening that Scarlett could try to push in here? I mean, Scarlett's basically staying on the exterior of Patience's base, but she hasn't actually done any real damage yet.
I think with these mutas, if she just, like, goes into a Baneling nest from here, I think I would really like that quite a bit. You just keep poking in over and over, let your mutas do some damage.
She gonna try to snipe Templars or something here with these mutas?
I think it's just going to be for probes for now. But she's making more mutas, so eventually the mutas might be able to help fight the army if you stay away from Archons. Oh, there is a cannon and shield battery there. Very nice defense.
Yep, Patience has really crossed his T's and dotted his I's here.
Yeah. Now Stalker's being made. Not surprised to see that, but Stalkers don't really make your army that much better.
I love the Archons and the War Prism.
Yeah. That's a great way to defend this. All those probes not mining for a long time now.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. Let's deal with that. How many biles would it take to just completely gun down one Nexus? Like, Scarlett has so many biles.
I'm not sure.
Kind of crazy.
A lot.
Okay, so there's a ton of mutas out now, already with this Roach Ravager. And Artosis was saying maybe this is where Scarlett's going to have an actual attack in.
Well, she just keeps making mutas, so it seems like this is the comp she wants to go for. And with this type of composition, oftentimes the game will end up in a base trade. And if that's part of Scarlett's planning, I think that's actually really brilliant because, wow. Oh, God. She is just really destroying everything with bile. Because Patience is not too good at base trades, right? So if she's kind of forcing that situation, that's pretty strong. Oh, God.
Whoa.
Don't fight those.
Yep, need to get away from those Archons. Archons are the natural enemy of mutas if they have to fight head-to-head.
Very hard to fight straight up with mutas in any of these situations. So the army of Patience is really scary and really strong. But the amount of mutas that she just continually is making more and more Lings. There's a lot of mobility here for Scarlett, but Patience is on those 4 bases.
I'm really interested in how Scarlett's playing this game.
Yeah, it's a cool way.
This is just so different than what I imagined it would be like. I thought it was going to be a lot more like lurker pushes. And
it's kind of an older style. We don't really see people go mutas in this matchup too much. It is doable, though.
Sure.
You know, thing is, if you counter those mutas with Stargate, oftentimes it becomes a very different game from where we're at. But the fact that he's going into Blink to counter it, I think that's better for Scarlett. Ooh, but
okay, but no.
It's not.
Yeah, I mean, you have to remember how expensive a Mutalisk really is if you lose a handful that quickly. I mean, they do die very fast, unlike some other more expensive units. Now, the Ling Muta is viable when it comes to counterattacks, you know? Yeah. This is cheap, so you're okay losing these Lings. If you can take out any expensive units, so be it.
And the amount of mutas that she's lost so far this game, though, is really heartbreaking. She's really lost a ton of mutas and continues to do so. Like, I think she has probably lost 20 mutas? How many?
Most of
34 mutas.
Jesus,
oh, God, I was way off.
God, I did not have any idea it was that high.
Yeah, it was a lot, man.
So Scarlett's going to try to go for counterattacks, it looks like, this game. Keep in mind, there's a lot of Ravagers here. It's a lot of supply. It's just kind of, oh, no.
All right, this counterattack, though, by Patience can definitely do a lot. He needs to bring back the bulk of his army to fight that.
Scarlett looks like she wants to go for a base trade. Much less bases, really, here for Patience. Patience basically smashed that base down and is now turning back around, trying to clean up the rest of this.
Like, Scarlett has a ton of units here. Dealing quite a bit of damage, but her actual army, is it strong enough? Like, once you recall in?
Is Patience going to recall? I thought Patience was going to go back, but now I see he's still roaming the map.
Well, I think he'll recall to his main a chunk of his army to hold that off, because overall, his army is a lot stronger heads up, right? This is a base trade type army from Scarlett, but okay, yeah, that's where you recall to, right? Multiple shield batteries and all that. Man, with all that Psy Storm, I don't know that she can break all that.
Yeah, I just don't know, man. Well, Patience, I think, is going to have enough of an army that he might be able to take this out. Yep, GG. Patience takes game 1.
Very interesting army that Scarlett tried for that game with the mutas, but as you can see, when you lose 34 mutas, that is such a gigantic economy that you put into this. So many resources, and I feel like she never really get the value off of those mutas.
Man. That's too bad. I'm kind of scratching my head about that, Artosis. I'm more caught off guard by that game than I have been in a while. It was an odd choice of units, and I understand the power and strength of going mutas, but she lost so many.
Yeah.
I mean, that's sort of the entire idea, is that you can avoid having direct conflicts with mutas and instead hit them where they're weak. But I mean, if you're going to keep losing mutalisks like that,
I think
it's not going to work.
I think she made a few misplays, and it just kind of got out of hand. Patience was really on the top of chasing everything down and dealing damage where he could. But I don't actually think it was a bad choice from Scarlett, especially looking at Patience didn't even try to go into Phoenix. He just went into Blink, which isn't necessarily a bad choice, but you are certainly setting up for a base trade there.
We're going into game 2. Scarlett is down. She needs to win this game and the next. Otherwise, Patience moves on to the round of 16.
Team expert, Scarlett.
She must win these next 2 games or she's going to be out in the round of 32. That'd be kind of sad. I felt coming in tonight like she might even be the favorite of the group.
Same.
Dead Pixels, Patience.
Patience playing quite well overall tonight.
Patience has been unfazed so far by Scarlett's pretty stellar performance.
Good variety of builds and some original ones too.
Well, I mean, this goes to show you how good Patience is after a couple games against Scarlett, he can come back with a build that's going to work.
Yeah.
Hang out with me, Artosis. He's mine. He's my nerd.
Hang out with me, Tases. Yeah, you can go with me, Tases. I'll see you later, dude. Hey guys, welcome. Thank you for coming down, everybody. Wonderful day of StarCraft.
That's right.
A nice long day too.
It's going to be the best day ever if Scarlett wins. Bias casting.
Hashtag bias casting.
Hashtag bias casting. What are you guys going to do? Put me in caster jail?
Caster jail.
Man, I want Scarlett to win. I'm rooting for Scarlett.
I know you're biased. I'm rooting for Losira.
Yeah.
Fortunately, he's already out.
He's our StarCraft everyman.
Well, I don't know. I guess Scarlett's gonna win this game where she's out, man. I don't know. A lot of PZs today.
One of our longer days we've had here for Codas.
Yeah.
Something about round of 32. It actually can make for quite long days, especially because we had that delay to start things off.
Yeah, we had a
It's
bit
problem
of a
with
delay.
Scarlett's computer.
Yeah. And Neon Violet Square in general gives us a bit of longer games. It's like our new Abyssal Reef in some ways. The Twilight once again. So, gonna start off with a bit more aggression than a standard Stargate play here.
I'm hoping that if Scarlett doesn't do one of these awesome all-ins that are super aggro, I'm hoping that we get to see this really slow, methodical, more standard play with Hydras moving around the map. I feel like that's quintessential Scarlett for me.
Well, I think that this game, obviously, she's going to have to go into, for instance, Roaches and then maybe Hydras.
Later on, yeah.
Yeah. But she needs to initially not take too much damage from whatever this Twilight opening is. Probably an Archon drop is what you would imagine. Charge on the way.
Let's get Narubu Bay.
Rubu Bay.
The Twilight Council.
Patience actually doesn't have many workers. This might actually be just the charge all in.
This is a
gas,
strat.
Though, so
this is a strat that's actually so sick. Even the very best players, sometimes if they don't realize that it's happening, they lose right away.
Yeah.
If it is that charge lot with the just fast warping.
In my opinion, it's the most brutal build order in the entire game right now.
I agree.
If you don't see it coming, you are dead 100%. But it's not that build exactly. I think it's just the one with DT Shrine a little bit later, because he's still mining gas, basically. It's kind of an interesting build, because you definitely get your charge out quite quickly, and they don't get to scout the Dark Shrine, even though the Stalker isn't the first unit that you make. So, this is the 4th time, I believe, today that Patience has used this. Used it twice against Scarlett, once against Losira, and here we go again. And it was kind of tricky. The first time he did it, he killed a ton of drones, 12 drones with the DTs in the main, because Scarlett scouted just that charge was on the way.
Invisible swordmen are pretty good.
Dude, swordmen are crazy.
Man.
There's like scythe guys. Like what? Scythe guy?
Swordmen and scythe guys. I'm still
Did
saying
you steal that scythe from the Norse?
You never actually see people fight with a scythe. You see like the Grim Reaper holding it, but he's never actually using it. It's more of a, it's more of a prop.
What about like Darth Maul?
Well, he didn't have a scythe, did he?
Well,
Darth Maul had like Donatello's bow, but with lasers on the end.
But isn't that like a scythe?
No.
Because you can't have a curved laser beam tasteless. That's basically a force scythe, or whatever we call it, a light scythe.
The push is happening.
Oh, I like that. He kind of shades the Adepts through to do some damage over there, and then sends in his Zealots.
Okay, the damage is starting to come out here. Scarlett has to brace for impact.
Yeah, loses a few drones here at the 3rd base. The Roach is coming up.
Oh, Queen goes down, which means it's going to be a lot harder to try to pick off this Warp Prism. And the second Warp Prism is inbound.
Oh, boy. Definitely very dangerous. Oh, God, there's no detection up there again. I don't even know if she has any detection right now. Yeah, she has one Overseer.
Go, 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 go. Oh, no.
This is where you warp into DT over here now.
Yeah.
Okay, so this time Scarlett a bit more on top of that, but the Zealots are getting damage done.
Well, 4 more
bit,
drones.
In fact.
Yeah, this is starting to really stack up. Okay, he does not make a DT. He's actually respecting Scarlett here, assuming that, of course, she's going to have a second Overseer. Although I don't believe there was. I think there's still just one going around.
Yeah, the second one's being made. In fact, that Overseer is moving away, but the Archons come in.
They left at just the wrong point in time. That was a little bit of a staggered attack there.
Yeah.
I could see Scarlett thinking, okay, surely the Warp Prism's coming from some other angle. Both Queens go down.
Yeah, the 3rd Queen might fall here as well. Some nice pickups there on the Archons.
Oh my God, so many drones are being picked off here. Yeah. This is really bad for Scarlett. And with this drop over here, it's going to get even worse. Now, there's a lot of Roaches. There's enough to win the fight, but Patience is really good at just picking the fight wherever Scarlett's not. Oh!
21 drones still, though, even though the big clump doesn't go down. Huge amounts of damage. Now, behind this, it's still just 2 base, 4 Patience. Just now started his Forge.
Yeah.
Just started his 1st or 2nd Mortal, I guess.
Yeah, so there's not a lot that Patience has behind this, so it's not like Patience is rapidly developed while this attack's going on. And that's why the attack is so strong, is you're basically putting all of your eggs in one basket for a period of time in the game.
The thing is, there was a good amount of damage as well.
Now, with the double Warp Prism, one thing you definitely want to use is to try to keep Zerg focused on chasing around this Warp Prism and not counterattacking.
Yeah.
Because there's definitely points where Zerg can muster enough forces, they can go down there and just smash that expansion.
And every second that she's not attacking, he's getting more Immortals, more Sentries, and that is what really Patience needs to kill off all those Roaches, to make it so that this army that Scarlett has made to defend against the attack is no longer even good against Patience's army.
So, Patience is making it very clear to Scarlett that the threat of another drop is real. That at any moment, if she is not respecting the Warp Prism's presence here, he's going to unload. It looks like we're going to have another one right here. Just trying to go for some drones. 2 kills, not bad at all.
Well, I'm trying to figure out what Scarlett does here to come back, right? She's making some Hydras to go with this. So maybe just like use your Roaches in front to tank a little bit and then try to utilize the DPS of the Hydras, but the amount of sentries and immortals here are going to make this so difficult, and Patience is not wasting any time. He's moving up immediately. +1 is even finishing. Ooh.
Yeah. Missile attacks is going to finish as well for Scarlett, but I just don't know. Scarlett stayed strong on 3 bases, not overextending. But I just feel like the power of this push, can you actually stop this?
Not with that group of units, you sure can.
No, I don't think so. I think there's a lot of ways to slice and dice up this army.
All right, some good vials come down. Actually, pick off a high-energy sentry, so that's a start at least. Good micro, though, coming out of Patience. Hold positioning for a moment. Doesn't want to waste too much of his charge here. Definitely makes it a lot harder. Some good force fields going down. Immediate vials to knock them down. There's the army moving forward here. Needs to kill that Prism. Can't quite do it, though. Can't get close enough.
Okay, these vials are actually pretty sick, man. However, it seems like Scarlett's army is starting to get thinned out. It's still these 3 immortals. Okay, a big hit on that. 1 immortal in the middle.
Yeah,
now it's going to be up to Patience juggling here with the Warp Prism. Does Scarlett actually manage to do it? The Corrosive Vials are going to hit this Warp Prism.
Oh,
and it's out.
Killing the Warp Prism is so big, because otherwise these immortals live forever and continue to deal damage to you. But if you look at the army, okay, it's solid recall. That army of Patience just really, I mean, it went down.
That was such a clutch hold there by Scarlett.
Yeah, I didn't think she was going to be able to do that, but I mean, the rally points, the good micro, everything was nice.
It seemed like Patience had so many good units, he wasn't able to quite control everything the way it was supposed to. I mean, ideally, at the highest level of play, the Corrosive Vials never really connect on their army, and instead just makes them move their army. So your range units are firing and doing damage while they're having to scuffle out of the way of that. But a lot of those vials actually landed on immortals or hit sentries that were full, and Scarlett was able to use that damage and really knock Patience back. And I think Patience was not expecting this game to go on past that big attack.
Yeah, I think you're probably right about that.
We're kind of in, I guess you could call it uncharted territory here for Patience. Scarlett growing pretty fast at about 135 supply to 100 supply here for Patience.
What a weird thing I'm looking at, by the way. 2 Lurker Dents on the way, and +1 armor for Protoss. That's not the upgrade you expect to see. You expect to see just attack upgrades. The armor really not anywhere near as useful. Obviously, it's still a good upgrade, but just kind of peculiar to see that.
Okay, there's nothing here to defend, and Patience has gone back to trying to go for harass here. It's going to be more valuable and allow Patience to try to stabilize. Now, this push, I don't know about the Sartosis.
The push by...
And the center right of the map for Patience.
I like that he's like kind of posturing right now. It's not like it's going to be easy to chase that army down, especially if you have sentries.
He's definitely doing a position game here.
Yeah, I don't think he's ever going to really go in unless he can get Scarlett way out of position.
Well, I mean, Patience is doing his damnedest here. Scarlett will eventually max out and probably try to do a power push down here to the bottom. Patience is still skimping on just 1 base. We got a lot of sword boys, Sartosis.
Yeah. Well, this is kind of interesting too, like just sending DTs everywhere at once and then pushing in with this army.
This is actually really weird, and I don't think I've really casted a game that looked like this. He's suddenly making sets of 3 DTs. Seems like that's usually enough to target down a building.
Like every base.
Yeah, I think he's going to see if he can't right-click down a hatchery.
Yeah, maybe. Like if you pick off a base, then maybe you can still do this. Obviously, he needs to get this one, but I feel like he needs to get 1 more also to win this game.
Wow, you see Scarlett tear through the force fields and just continue to push Patience back.
Wow,
these immortals are not that fast.
No. All right, stops and fights there for a moment.
Look at this. Scarlett is not going to be swayed. And these immortals are actually slowing up in this movement where it looked like Patience was trying to play a pretty clever position game. Scarlett just barrels through and is now ripping this army to shreds. And they're having to retreat back to that 3rd base where I think the final stand might be for Patience.
All right, Patience turns and fights finally, but that army of Scarlett way too big. GG.
Nice.
Scarlett ties up the series 1-1.
What a wonderful day. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are going to our final game of the night. Scarlett versus Patience. Both these players are so great. Only one can move on. It seems like Patience has tried to mix it up a little bit, but it has so far not really worked. Remember, Scarlett beat Patience the first time they fought. That series, which was our first series of the day, was a 2-1 victory for Scarlett. It's very possible we could see history repeat itself.
Well, our last map, Neon Violet Square, once again. Map where we have a lot of long games. Will this be a long game? Will someone cheese? I mean, we've been seeing some games from Patience here. 1 win, 1 loss so far tonight against Zergs. But it gets to that late game. Does he feel confident against Scarlett in the late game? Does he maybe want to make the game decided earlier, do some sort of all? And the thing is, it's a long map. It's hard to do.
Okay, our players are now in the lobby. Scarlett versus Patient on Neon Violet Square. Scarlett, one of the greatest non-Korean StarCraft 2 players of all time. Patience, hungry to push his domination in the GSL, but he has to go through Scarlett first. It's all going to come down to this one last game to decide who will survive in Group B. Let's go!
Fight! Team expert, Scarlett.
Some strong defense that game. I thought she was going to die. She lost
too.
all those drones, and then the counter push came up. Oof. Second push.
Dead Pixels, Patience.
We have not seen any real aggro play from Scarlett. Like, she is really leaned more on macro growth styles.
It's quite true. It's harder to rush Protoss than it used to be. You know, without the Overlord drop, that was such an integral part of the early attacks against Protoss.
Well, I think nobody leveraged that better than Scarlett.
Yeah, she did fantastic.
She was really utilizing that.
Well, that was like really the big story at Pyeongchang, right? Just abusing poor SOS in those games. Poor SOS.
Poor SOS.
Said nobody ever.
That poor, incredibly rich super genius.
Yeah.
Who was just not able to
dude.
use his awesome strategies because good old Scarlett dropping into the main. But you're right, PVZ is a different animal now.
Ah, 2 probes.
I spy
Proxy start.
with my little eye Protoss air units in the sky.
I would certainly think so. Quick Oracle flying in. It's, you know, the rotation of Patience's build so far, I think has been really, really strong.
I agree. I think it's about as good as you can ask from somebody. He
has
has really shown such a range.
This is game 9 against Zerg. He has not built Oracle first even one time, and there's even been a Stargate game where he didn't make an Oracle.
That's right.
So, like, that's, you know, this is not a build you're necessarily expecting, even though this is not an uncommon build by any means. People are proxying Stargate all day.
Now, it's important to Patience that Scarlett saw that probe running away, because it's more likely if Scarlett sees the probe get chased away that she's going to discard the possibility of a proxied Stargate. Now, that being said, on a map like this, proxy Stargate's definitely something that people do.
Yeah.
Certainly not the craziest of strategies,
Yeah.
really in general anymore. I mean, this is just something people do a lot.
Yeah, it happens all the time. But not from Patience so far. There we go. Oracle on the way. Alright, the Adept keeping itself a little bit busy. Gets in here. There's no Spore. When they do finish and go after drones, though, I think it's always a smart thing to throw a Spore down. Kind of doing their pre-scout there for the Oracle. Spore's going to finish up just as the Oracle gets there.
So far, so good. Got to keep in mind, occasionally these Oracles still get a lot of kills, but it looks like the position of this Spore.
Yeah.
Look at this. This is so perfectly timed out.
With the second queen.
Whoa. That's
Yeah,
taking
only
a
2
lot of
kills.
damage.
Okay. 1 kill. Excuse me, 1 kill. Proxy Oracle gets only 1 kill. Now, this doesn't mean the game is over or anything. Oftentimes you'll see people make 1-2 units out of the Stargate, and that's all they make out of the Stargate for the whole game.
But it is one thing that is going well for Scarlett this time around.
Yes,
right? I mean, the opening was basically just shut down. So Scarlett's in good shape to start things off. Probably a little bit tilting here for Patience. So as the game goes on, the Robo Bay is getting close to finishing up, as well as the Twilight Council. Scarlett droning up pretty heavily.
So probably Archon drop coming in here once again.
Yeah, you would imagine so. And that Oracle needs to be used later on to try to tag the army. Keep tabs on where Scarlett's moving out to.
Definitely. Scout as much as you can. Try to figure out, okay, you know, is there Hydral Ascent coming down? How quickly? Baneling Nest. Which, by the way, we haven't really seen from her tonight against him. Prism coming up. No Archives. Yeah, no Darkshine yet either.
No, we're waiting to see if there's even going to be an upgrade there at the Twilight Council. So we have a couple drones being killed off here. I think it looks like it's going to get about 5. So that's a fair amount to get.
Finally, the Templar Archives comes down. I guess too heavily microing there was Patience, but he's taking a third base during all this as well.
You know, that's something that sometimes we don't talk about enough, but StarCraft's not just a game where you're supposed to be doing everything all the time. You really have to know how to prioritize what you're focused on.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes the players that are just trying to do whatever is supposed to be ideally like the next task in their build, a lot of times they'll end up losing like the Warp Prism, or they could have harassed a little bit better and killed, let's say, a dozen drones instead of 4 or 5 because they just weren't targeting quite heavily. You got to know what's the most important thing to be doing at any point in time in a game. Now, it looks like we're going to see the beginnings of that Warp Prism harass. Patience took his third base, the free base in the back. Scarlett's now taking her fourth base in the free base area. Very unlikely that will be harassed. And I think this is the base layout here for Scarlett was really smart, because this is when the Archon harass comes in. You don't want your fourth hatch being far out. We kind of saw Losira do this as a theme as he took the free base way later, but I think Scarlett's playing a much safer, wiser game.
Everything seems really well defended so far from her. Creep spread is starting to get really good as well. But there's a second Robo coming up for Patience, so he's going to get exactly the type of army that he needs to stay alive. And Scarlett's going for a pretty quick infestation pit here, lined up with her Hydral Ascent. So I think she'll be going directly up into Hive with that. I think it's a great choice as well.
Now, it may be advantageous for the Zerg to wait and see when and where Patience tries to take his fourth base and try to attack in there. Now, the fourth base, especially the one that it looks like Patience is going to get, in fact, he just now makes the Nexus there. That's a base that's easier to hold than some other bases. That's probably the safest fourth you can take at this phase of the game for the Protoss.
So, yeah, some intense mini games going on to cancel the creep tumor. Make sure that she can continue to push that creep forward. Roach is kind of going around all over the place. Psystorm almost halfway done as the Hive goes up.
And this Stargate was never really contested on the map. I mean, it's not a huge impact, but Scarlett basically stayed back, was much more concerned with trying to actually keep the Warp Prism and the Oracle out than trying to eliminate some tech on the map that is not exactly that impactful, especially for the way this game's been developing.
All right, those 5 Drop Lords on the way. Lurker Den is almost done as well, so the same type of attack going to be coming up again. Now, when Losira did it against Patience, it actually did a lot of damage, but when Scarlett did it, he defended it super well.
Yeah, it's interesting. You would have expected it to be the other way around. On this map especially, because the Protoss wants to be in this nook at the fourth base in the center left, because it's a lot easier to try to hold everything off there. The drops are a great way to abuse that. You drop into the main, and then they have to make a really tough call. And Protoss units, especially trying to get into the main from where that fourth base is, it's a pretty clunky
it really is.
Maneuver.
It's not easy base flow, that's for sure.
You know, we were talking about the Stargate maybe not being as important in this game. I guess now with drops coming in here, it kind of is.
Oh, yeah.
Because Phoenixes were very handy in taking out those drops, and really, even though the Stargate's still in the game, it's not in a great position.
If for no reason other than to just spot the drop when it's coming in with the Phoenix, right? It's just a very useful thing to have. An Oracle to tag these lurkers as well. What kind of detection does he have right now? Some cannons? Does he even have an observer? You don't make many observers in this matchup. Not in this
where
point
is his
of the
observer?
game. I have no idea. I don't even know how many he has.
Okay. So the Stargate is finally going to be taken out here. There is a drop coming. So Scarlett, it's very important to Scarlett that she hits here first to draw the screen down here. This is going to force a response now from Patience. And as this army's running away, the drop should be coming in.
Yeah. Drop is starting to move towards that main base. Here we go. Single cannon.
Dude.
Oh, Patience was there, but it didn't come as quickly as he thought. Going back up now. Lurker's going to the back as well.
Okay, Immortals are coming up. They need to start to target down those Lurkers. The drop there ends, but there's one more coming in over here at the pocket expansion, which is also then shut down. That cannon shot looked really weird, but it didn't connect on the Lurker.
Great defense here.
Okay, but Scarlett has a series of attacks she's going to try to pull off here. Whoa.
Well, pretty good storms.
Yeah, it's about as good as you can ask for. The dropping continues. Scarlett's trying to get Patience to not have the right amount of attention devoted to a certain area. So far, though, so good here for Patience. His defense is looking pretty stellar.
Yeah, really well done. And we'll get a few buildings, but that's pretty normal at this point. A couple observers on the way, as there's not really a lot of detection going on.
Scarlett has continued to expand here. This one Lurker is probably the only thing that's really been effective so far in this drop. There's a chance Scarlett tries to rotate around and actually push into the fourth. Sometimes you see people over-defend.
Yeah. Well, good call there. That is where she's going. Walks one
Okay.
Lurker into that stasis ward. Yeah, I don't think you want to attack into that.
Okay, Storm's coming down now. These Lurkers are far out enough. They're not really able to do damage. We do see the one Observer was sent up there, and the Zealots were able to kill that Lurker. But Scarlett's going to double down. She wants to try to take out this fourth base. Again, you just have to get the fourth base, and usually you're going to be in a situation where you can then bring that home to victory.
That is a very hard position to break, especially as more units filter down here for Patience. But Scarlett has a ton of units.
Yeah.
The Lurkers come up burrow.
Scarlett dives in. A lot of damage coming out here. A lot of Hydras coming forward. It's basically only Immortals to hide. Oh my god, this is so much. I think the Patience is just going to destroy this.
Yeah. That is
Wow.
a lot of Immortals.
And Scarlett's supply plummets down by 80.
Well, she pushed it right where most of his units were, and he was bringing more down as well, kind of on top of things. That many Immortals.
So she opted, instead of trying to leapfrog in there, she said, okay, just go for it. I'm just going to come right in there, burrow down, and the damage is going to be too much. And Patience, to his credit, was totally ready, executed all the storms perfectly, had the Immortals in a really nice arc. And now Scarlett is, she's hurting this game.
Yeah.
And now, even though she has great growth on the map, look, you can see Patience is finally moving out. He's beginning to assert himself, realizing that, whoa, you lost way too much.
It's a scary army as well that he has. This is somewhat similar to how Losira was playing, right, where he kind of overextended for a little bit, but he had dealt more damage overall. I guess where Scarlett is doing a bit better is her tech is quicker. So she has a couple of Vipers out. She has remade some of her army at least.
The Patience is really moving with caution here. Because Scarlett's creep very intentionally has been pushed way out. It's like a big arrow on the map pointed at Patience's side of the map here. And so Patience wants to tread lightly because engaging Scarlett on creep is going to be pretty scary. These Lurkers can just dive on top, get a good burrow, and really start to hurt Patience's army. And Scarlett's army is one that can be recreated on the fly pretty easily, especially with the income she has. Whereas if Patience, for instance, loses all these Immortals, that's a long game to get back to where he was before.
Who will be the first to attack? I think Scarlett has to sit back, and I think until these Tempests are out, like, he's getting Blink again, by the way, which is kind of neat, but he's sitting very defensively. Look at this. Split units. Just very scary forces full of Size Storms on both sides. Yeah, it seems like he just wants to get up to his death ball before he really moves out.
So Scarlett is going to take that hatchery location that's not far from where Patience is. So this is getting kind of weird. They're both expanding towards the bottom left. Immortals are now coming out. Now these are Immortals that he actually wants to try to get rid of. Ideally if they could go in there and try to gun down a hatchery or something, that'd be nice. But right now it's about Tempests and in this case Oracles as well.
There's a second Spire on the way. There's no Greater Spire, right? So these Corruptors are just Corruptors right now. Like, right?
I think so. I mean,
put you on the spot, Tasis. Yeah, see? There's no Greater Spire, so it's like the Tempests are not going to be necessarily bad, but they're not fighting Broodlords.
Well, they're not countering what they're supposed to counter.
Yeah.
I mean, it's always nice to have Tempests, but...
And they still do a lot. You can still poke a lot with them and stuff.
I mean, in some ways, it's like Patience is trying to answer a threat that's not really coming.
And Scarlett getting into kind of every tech now. Greater Spire is on the way. Tons of upgrades. The Ultralisk Cavern's done. Pathogen Glands on the way.
With the extra minerals, Patience is sending these small groups of zealots, like we see here, to try to get any hatcheries or any drones that are just not being attended to. And you can see Scarlett's actually got some really nice placement here with these spines to basically make it impossible. You can see the angle the Queen, the Spore, the Spine are at. The drones aren't even going to get touched.
Yeah, you got to really put a lot of money to break that situation.
Okay.
That's as worthwhile.
Push is commencing.
Yeah, trying to poke in some with these Tempests. There's plenty of Corruptors, and you got to be so careful about those Vipers. If you don't get the feedback, you are just losing an expensive unit.
Okay. 1-1 about to finish here for the Zerg. Patience has got kind of an outpost army here at the very top right. Scarlett, it's kind of interesting. She hasn't really tried to expand up into the top right. She's just leaving that area open. She's being very, very careful to not overextend here. And you can see Patience is really pressing the issue, but he's not really getting any footing here.
And a duck there on an Oracle.
So there's two big waves coming here. One in the middle that's now backing up. One in this screenshot we have here in the center right that's trying to edge in. But you can see the arc here that Scarlett has. It's really nice. Now the storms may allow Patience to just push through. Look at that. It's just too much. Whoa. What is going on here?
Yeah, hold on. Coming in with the rest of the army here. We'll clear out those lurkers so easily with all those immortals. Of course, the Archon's forcing those Corruptors to turn around.
Now we have more Infestors and Hydras coming in here. Maybe with some great fungals. Scarlett just shreds this up with these Hydras. Patience has gotten big enough on the map where it's a little bit wild.
Yeah, and
like there's just a lot that he can produce at this point in time.
He's actually playing to his ID as well, which he's not necessarily actually known for being a patient player, but he hasn't over-pushed at all. He's just building a better and better and better army. It's like the $1 million Protoss right now. Well, he can even regain his Stargate, his proxy Stargate that hasn't been powered forever.
Oh, this is kind of weird. He's just fungling these Archons. These Archons are just getting picked up. Uh-oh.
Very nice. Pull those things in and kill them.
Nicely done there by Scarlett. That was a pretty big win. You saw that the patient supply dropped to 166.
Definitely losing a lot of units, but a push in up here. Scarlett out of position to deal with this. I don't know. I mean, this was an okay attack, but not really getting that much done.
Yeah, he's killing a few buildings, but this isn't really getting the job done.
But as long as he gets away with everything, I'm cool with that.
It's kind of a funny game because, again, Protoss keeps trying to push in from the top, and I know why, because if you can take out that center right base, then you can hit the other base from the high ground. So it's kind of like premium push real estate there. But the bottom left part of the map, where Scarlett's actually been growing towards, is being almost entirely, utterly neglected.
Well, if Patience continues to put on pressure on the top, kind of like half pressure, Scarlett doesn't expand up there, right? That has to be part of the reason why she's not expanding up there.
Yeah, but I don't think Patience can easily expand to the top right either. So
certainly not easily.
It's kind of I think it's easier for Scarlett. Scarlett, I think, can wait. She's actually still getting a lot of resources. Now this push is coming here, and I think finally this location on the map is getting the attention it deserves. And this base is going to go down, and now Scarlett has to do something.
Okay, so actually throwing down a ton of her spells here, bringing in the Corruptors from the side as well. We'll be able to clear out the rest of this army, but she lost one of her bases. So that was a lot of expensive units there. 16 Hydras on the way.
Okay, Patience trying to collapse onto this base down here. It's still eating a lot of shots from these Immortals. It's taken out. Patience really intelligently backs up.
Wow, this is tactically being played very well from Patience.
Yeah. And look at the Storms just keeping the Zerg at bay.
Oh, Scarlett just now starting a Broodlord. I think that's something that she really needs more of at this point.
Oh man, a lot of these Corruptors getting hit.
She's made a ton of Hydras, but really Broodlords counter this army better than anything right now. They counter all the ground units of Protoss. Oh god, never mind, there's a lot of carriers.
Yeah.
I didn't realize there's that many. But I know all the
Scarlett's actually going to fight her way into this bottom left location. Now, this is the only base. The bottom left is all that Patience has as far as expansions. Scarlett has not reclaimed the 2 hatcheries, the 2 locations that were wiped out by Patience. Really interesting. She keeps using Neural Parasite now on these Archons. I mean,
I love it. It's so useful, right? You throw down the Neural spell and bring it forward. Don't fight your opponent with it. Just bring the unit in and kill it off. It's kind of like an abduct from the ground.
There's a crazy amount of storms that Patience has here.
Yeah.
I mean, there's enough storms I can't imagine Scarlett has a good engage. And look at this. He's just pushed in. He's now occupying this bottom center. Zerk can't expand there. Now, we still haven't seen Scarlett switch back into expanding to the upper right. So right now, its Patience is actually beginning to outgrow Scarlett at a pretty scary rate. Now, Scarlett has a lot of gas banked up, whereas Patience does not, which means if we do have a giant fight, the armies that are going to be remade, it's possible there's going to be more sophistication coming from Scarlett. But then again, it all depends on how the actual engages go down, right? I mean, a few good storms or a few good fungals can completely turn the game in a very specific direction.
Scarlett's microing actually better than Patience here, I have to say.
Well, the fact that, for instance, she managed to climb back up onto this high ground area.
Yeah. It's just a lot of dancing going on. DT's being sent around. That's a very smart move because realistically, I think Scarlett should have expanded by now to one of those bases in the top. And so the DT should do well against that, but...
Oh, this is actually a really good position here.
I've been waiting for that my whole life. Oh my god. Stealing the High Templar and feedbacking another High Templar.
Okay, Scarlett actually comes in here. She takes out this base. I do not know how many, how rich the patches are that are in the one base that's basically still viable. Hold up. Big attack coming up here. A lot of Neurals here. At least 3 on these Archons, now damaging all of these Immortals.
Yeah, the Archons just not attacking the Corruptors is so useful. The Corruptors actually pushing back this mothership, but
man,
the carriers...
Scarlett's army's been picked off entirely.
Yeah.
Kicking her all the way down to 121 supply. Patience still at 183, and now making a beeline across the map to tear through any bases that are still remaining here.
She still has a pretty big bank, and Patience is coming for her. Does she not have Larva? Is that what's going on? Like, maybe she just doesn't have Queens injecting all this time.
I think that's it.
It must be, because, like, she's sitting here still 1.5k, 1.3k, and she's about to die if she doesn't get something together. Oh god, that 1 DT causing trouble in the back lines.
Yeah, I mean, this should be a pretty straightforward push. Now, this is a lot of Hydras. Could be actually enough that it's going to make Patience respect that.
Well, if you don't have Psystorm, the Hydras really can deal a lot of damage. Oh god, Scarlett has to push on top of that.
Oh, there is Psystorm there. I didn't.
It might have just gotten energy or something. I think he would have cast that more quickly. More carriers coming out.
I just don't know about this. And again, Scarlett's not expanding.
Well, she's got no money at this point to do anything with.
And I think Patience very intelligently just backed up and said, nope. This is now your problem, Scarlett. I don't have to end this game. Figure out how to kill me. Or take a base and I'm going to go out there and smash it.
She's going to try it, but this army of Patience seems like it's way too strong.
Okay, Scarlett's coming forward. Some storms raining down. Hydra's now picking off a lot of these interceptors. They might be able to negate the utility of the interceptors in this fight. Scarlett now, again, coming in here.
The Lurkers are going to have to do some insane heavy lifting in this next battle.
Now, there is creep right here at this base. Scarlett's pushed this all the way down here. But again, no expansions here for Scarlett. Basically, Scarlett would have to win this fight. The numbers, to me, they just don't add up. I don't see how it could be done.
Oh, a massive Psystorm as well. The entire ground army of Patience pushing forward right now. The carrier is adding huge amounts of damage from the skies. GG. And Patience eliminates Scarlett.
Nicely done by Patience. Definitely worthy victor. Scarlett giving Patience a thumbs up, as that was a fantastic series.
Yeah, that was really good. Overall, they go 3-3 against each other tonight, but Patience won when it truly mattered in that final match. Scarlett, our top seed for the group, top 8 from last season, unable to advance.
Great day of games here. So here, this is actually 4 hours and 30 minutes or so.
Yeah, nice.
We had a nice, long, dramatic day. Patience is now going to go to Geary. We're going to get the interview for you guys as we wrap up Group B.
All right. This was a wonderful day. I hope you all enjoyed it. I'm sure you did. Too bad to see Scarlett go, but Patience, just he played well. What can you say? Great games against Losira.
Yeah.
Strong play against
네,
Scarlett.
오늘 패자전과 최종전을 거쳐 풀세트를 하면서 올라갑니다. 조지현 선수 만나보겠습니다. 축하드립니다.
He fell in the losers match and ultimately went to the final
네,
match and redeemed
정말
himself.
축하드립니다.
Patience is
그리고
our
수고
victor. Thank you.
많으셨어요. 먼저 소감 어떠세요?
일단은
How do you feel?
제가 연습을 이번에 진짜 열심히 했는데 뚫게 돼서 정말 좋은
I
것
want you guys to know I practiced
네.
really hard.
오늘
I'm so glad I
자신의
made it.
경기에 대한 스스로의 평가 먼저 내려볼까요?
How would you evaluate your performance
제가
today?
너무 실수를 너무 많이 하고
네.
연습 때
There was actually a lot of mistakes I made throughout the
이렇게
games.
무난하게 가면 거의 다 이겼거든요.
네.
그런데
Even if I
실수가
played like
너무
this,
많이 나서 오늘
even when I was making mistakes in my practice, I would usually still win. But I can't say it was my cleanest games for sure.
나만의 스타일로 보여주신 건 득이라고 할 수가 있을 것 같아요. 그런데 이렇게 준비했는데 폭풍이 늦고
You really showed an awesome, unique style.
정말 왜 그러시는 거예요?
이게
You had some of your buildings coming in a little bit late. You were missing some upgrades I saw back there.
네.
This is
다
savage.
생각하다 보니까
Yeah, since the Zerg has so many different builds they can do,
다음부터는 생각을 좀 줄이고
I had just a lot of thoughts in my mind. I wasn't quite able to
오늘
keep up.
박진영 해설의 이야기를 들어보면 긴장을 많이 하셨다고 이야기를 하던데 긴장이 많이 되셨어요?
So JYP's been mentioning a lot.
하면서 계속
Patience
제일
seems a little bit nervous. Is that
긴장
true?
안 하고 한판 이기니까 긴장되더라고요.
Yeah, I think in my very first match,
되게
네.
I wasn't
원래
nervous,
제가
but after the first
한
matches,
거의
I
다
actually started
하려고
becoming
했는데
more nervous throughout this
선수가
the games today.
레더에서
So
당한 빌드라고
yeah, the
저한테
first game that I
보여주더라고요.
played, I was very impressed.
그래서 그거 몇 판 써봤는데
Solar's
다
been helping me.
이기더라고요. 그래서 계속 첫판
He has builds that are similar to that,
네, 이렇게 기분 좋은
but he's
승리가
also been
있었죠.
losing against Protoss, so I know I had that going for me.
간절함과 긴장감이 느껴졌어요. 훨씬 더
In that final
과감하셔도
match against
좋았을
Scarlett,
것 같다는 생각이 드는데
Both of you
내가
seemed
유리하다.
desperate.
내가 이건 진짜 이기겠다.
There was
이런
definitely a lot
생각이
of tension. We
언제쯤
could feel it in the
드셨는지
studio.
궁금하거든요.
What was the moment
일단은
where you thought,
끝까지
okay, I've got this?
거의 이겼다 생각이 안 들었고 그 마지막 7시인가 거기서
Honestly, it's like I couldn't even put all my
이기고
thoughts together until the very end. Just when she typed out GG, I thought, okay.
16강에 꼭 올라가겠다 하는 마음이 잘
I was definitely trying to win that
느껴졌던 것
engagement
같아요.
at 9 o'clock.
현재 이 GSL에서 조지현
And after
선수의
maybe that fight, that's probably when I was most confident I was going to win.
네, 이번 시즌 시작하실 때 품었던 그
So your
목표
best record in the
들어볼 수
GSL, I
있을까요?
believe, is round of 16.
뭐 일단은
I'm curious. What are your goals for this
이번
season?
시즌은
So in this season,
저번처럼 연습을 저번에 좀 많이 못했거든요.
네.
그래서 이번에는 진짜 열심히
I
해서
honestly, to be
밥만
honest,
먹고 게임에서 이겨야 될 것 같아요.
네, 밥 많이 드시고 연습도 많이 하시고 오시길 바라겠습니다. 마지막으로 팬들에게
okay, he's saying he
한마디
didn't quite
해주세요.
practice as much
일단은
as he could have. So he's going to practice even more going into the round of 16.
16강을 가는 거기도 하고 대회가 그동안
Anything you wanna say to your
오랫동안
fans?
없었어요. 그래서
I know it's been a while for you guys to see me in the round of 16.
열심히 할 때는
there weren't any
더
tournaments I could participate for a little bit.
응원해주셨으면
So
네,
thanks to everybody who's been
조지현 선수
supporting
다시
me.
한번 축하드립니다.
And please keep supporting me. If you do, I promise you'll see great games from me
네,
in the
이렇게
future.
비조의 두 번째 16강 진출자까지
Thank you,
확인해
Patience.
봤는데요.
Congratulations.
오늘 경기 결과 확인해 보겠습니다.
Artosis,
Yes.
Mark Kerrigan has died.
Yes. It's too bad Scarlett gets eliminated because she did such a great job last season. But you know what? This happens to the best of them. GSL Code S. Hopefully she'll be back next time.
I'm
But-
sure she will be.
Yeah. For tonight, you can't be sad with the players that advance. Like, Patience is a strong Protoss. Sometimes he shows top-tier games, and I think tonight is one of those nights. Of course, GuMiho, former champion. We need strong Terrans like him advancing as well.
A lovely day. I would not want to spend any other day than with you fine people on the internets. This is Group C. As usual, it's going to be on Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. Who wore the jean jacket best?
It's either
True.
SOS or True.
I think it's True.
It's definitely one of them.
True and SOS with the matching undershirt here.
Oh, what does this mean?
Keen as well, looking good in that jean jacket.
That's going to be a fun group, too. Keen can make some upsets, no doubt about it. And then Solar's been playing pretty well lately. Of course, True did well in Super Tournament. Really brought Dark to the limits and won his first round against Trust. And then, of course, it's SOS.
We do have the ASL going on tomorrow. I will not be there. I have to get my kitty turned into a eunuch.
Yes.
So I'm going to be with a drugged-up kitty all day tomorrow. So I will not be there.
I thought you're not coming in.
I'm not coming in. That's what I just said.
Oh, okay.
It's been a long day. Anyways, I will be back for the other casts coming up. But no work for me tomorrow. This is a great day.
Yeah. But make sure you tune in to ASL tomorrow.
Yes.
And if you're just sitting
7
there and
p.m.
you're like sitting there, I don't know, I haven't had enough StarCraft yet. Go check out The Pylon Show, episode 2. We just had Me and In Control. Check it out on Artosis TV on YouTube. YouTube.com/Artosis TV. And you can
on the
check that
tubes of the U. That's where it's at.
Yeah.
That's what they call it, Artosis.
Check that out for sure.
Yeah, I mean, GSL is sizing up to be another great season. Again, it's too bad we had both the Laser and Scarlett die in the round of 32.
Well, maybe Xanster sort of can show us some quality plays coming up in their groups. Xanster's group is so hard, man.
It's really hard.
That's a tough one for him.
I got my fingers crossed for him, though. I'm rooting for him. Yeah, I mean, is there anything else you need to say before we close it out?
Goodbye.
We love you guys. See you next time. Mwah.
Brother, do you still believe in one another? Hey, sister, do you still believe in love? I wonder. Oh, if the sky comes falling down for you, there's nothing in this world I wouldn't do. What if I'm far from
Game activated.
There's a place at the end of the
GSL Season 2 Overgrowth.